There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled, a podcast that looks at things or people or institutions that we feel weird about and takes them to court. Except it's not a real court, it's a silly court. I'm Claire Stevens and I'm joined by
Jessie Stevens. And yeah, we look at celebrities who, just like normal people, occasionally do a naughty thing or two.
or seven.
Claire, when was the last time you did a naughty thing?
Jessie, you're implicated in this.
Oh.
There's a certain person on a platform some may know as Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And what happened was that person was being silly, doing some things that were morally questionable.
Uh-huh.
And I left a comment. I tagged you. And I said, this is the F word.
We were young.
We wouldn't
use
it was a
such
while
language
ago.
now.
It was a while ago.
But we are reminded every time someone sends us a link to this person, we go, can't see it, we're blocked.
And both of us, me as the commenter, you as the person I tagged. And to that person, who I will not name, I would say you have great control on your Instagram. Really good admin, whoever your admin is.
Yeah.
Say thank you. They're protecting you from a lot of problematic
We're
people.
sorry, we shouldn't have written that.
It's not, I wouldn't do it today.
No.
But we've been punished. We've been adequately punished because I cannot see the fun content that person posts.
Yeah.
Which was highly entertaining.
I have also been doing naughty things. For example, in my old age, I think I'm a liar. Do you ever have this where a lie comes out of your mouth and you go, I effortlessly just lied, didn't need to. I think I'm a liar.
I did this recently. I told a lie and it was a weird lie, unnecessary lie. And then I was paranoid for that next week about several
Upholding
situations where it would come out, where people would speak to each other and go, oh, Claire said she was here. No, she wasn't. Yeah.
No, it comes out and I go, that's not a true thing. And I'm not backtracking on it.
Today we are talking.
I lie to my partner about how long I walk the dog.
Oh,
He
me
says,
too.
yeah, he says, did you walk the dog today? Oh, yeah, it took her for an hour. No, it was more like 15 minutes. She's not going to tell.
No, I lie about how long it took to clean up.
Oh, I spent all day.
All day, hours. Look at my sweat. That's from sitting in front of the heater. That's not from cleaning.
from like passionately TikToking.
Yeah. But Jessie, speaking of naughty things,
Who among us has not cheated on our boyfriend with the director of the Snow White and the Huntsman in the woods?
is that the name of the movie? Snow White and the Huntsman. Jesus. Anyway,
I think it is, but it was in the woods.
today we're talking about Kristen Stewart.
I know what you are.
Say it out loud.
Vampire.
Kristen Stewart stepping out on her on and off-screen beau, Robert Pattinson, with her Snow White and the Huntsman director, Rupert Sanders.
This woman has never liked speaking to the press, and here she is issuing a very personal statement.
Oh man, no, I was so inside out. Are you kidding? Yeah,
really?
It's taken years to get to this conversational point.
Kristen James Stewart.
Did you know she had a fear of horses?
You stole my fun fact.
Okay.
It's called equinophobia. It's a fear of horses. It actually makes me angry because I think she's trying to be quirky and horses are bloody very cute.
Is it just me, or when you look at Kristen Stewart, do you think, oh, I took you for a horse girl? I took you for and I don't mean that offensively. Horses are a great animal. But I looked at her and went, I would have taken you for someone who has a really passionate interest in horses. So it is a surprise.
Bella Swan would love horses. So she's a 32-year-old American actress best known for her roles in Panic Room.
It's called a panic room.
What?
A safe room. Castle keep in medieval times.
My room. Definitely my room.
Excellent film.
Yeah, I'd forgotten she was in that.
Yeah, all the Twilight movies, Into the Wild, The Runaways, Snow White and the Huntsman. There is no In the Woods in that title.
Okay,
you added that.
This is what you didn't understand. I've just got to clarify. Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah.
Comma, because Kristen Stewart cheated in the woods. She was in the woods.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that that's what you were saying. Anyway, she was also in Spencer, the Princess Diana biopic that was released in 2021.
You know, at school you do tenses.
Yeah,
It's the past, the present, future.
right.
Well, here, there is only one tense. There is no future. Past and the present are the same thing.
Interestingly, Kristen Stewart's mum is Australian, and I find it interesting that we have never once claimed her as our own. Never once has someone been like, she's Aussie. Nope. Stewart began acting at 8 after an agent saw her in her primary school play. Stewart has said, I never wanted to be the centre of attention. I wasn't that. I want to be famous. I want to be an actor kid. I never sought out acting. People like that annoy me because I think, well, you're famous now, so just shut up. Because there are so many people who did want to be an actor and didn't make it, and you made it and you didn't even try.
Yeah, but in her defence, I feel as though she might just be genuinely very, very skilled. I get it. I think that there are a lot of actors who are introverts.
Yeah, which mum doesn't buy. Mum gets very upset about that. About famous people
But
saying
I think that there
introverts.
are a lot that just love their craft. It's like Beyonce's an introvert. She is. She's an artist. Serena Williams, introvert.
Okay.
They just happen to be incredibly good at what they do, and by accident, they're really famous.
Okay. I guess that might be the case with our friend Kristen James. In 2012, she was the highest paid actress in Hollywood. So she's got a great career. But we're taking her to court.
You do that when people have lots of money. You go,
hold on, something's fishy here. My structure for today is as follows. Firstly, her behaviour on Twilight press tours. Then her cheating scandal. Then conspiracy theories about the cheating scandal. Criticising her co-stars, comments on Woody Allen, and finally, creative choices, because I have something I need to vent about.
Right.
And no, it's not Twilight, because if you're new to this podcast, can't enter in evidence we've already discussed. Them's the rules.
We've done an episode on Twilight. We just highly suggest that after this you go and listen to that because it was just great fun.
I'd almost say it's required listening ahead of this.
No, I think they can listen afterwards. That annoys me when I start listening to a podcast and they're like, you should listen to this first. Well, I'm listening to this now, so they can listen later.
You also probably know plenty about Twilight, but let's start with her behaviour on the Twilight press tours. Something about Kristen Stewart is that she isn't Jennifer Lawrence, for example. So she didn't do all the self-deprecating humour and quick wittiness that other actresses have on press tours. She didn't do a lot of smiling, and she developed a reputation for being cold and unapproachable.
I think she's shy.
I tend to agree. On red carpets, she'd just very much be sort of glancing at the person she was with, doing an awkward smile, that kind of thing. She told her...
She was 20.
Yeah. Which,
young. Very young.
There are 5-year-old actors in Hollywood, so I don't think that's an
They're a
excuse.
little bit weird, aren't they?
Anyway, she told a reporter she was sick of being asked whether or not she was dating Robert Pattinson in real life, and that annoyed me because
You're in a mood.
you're in a mood. I have to say, after doing this research, my opinion changed on Kristen Stewart, and I actually quite like her. So this is a weird hostility I'm giving. But anyway, in my opinion, you're making millions of dollars from these films, and you're annoyed that people are interested in whether you're dating your co-star. And in their defense, you are. She said, I probably would have answered if people hadn't made such a big deal out of it. And my thinking is, if people weren't making such a big deal out of it, you wouldn't be paid $34 million a year.
Yeah, but she's going, my job is to be a vampire. It's not to tell you about
my vampire
my
boyfriend.
Off-screen vampire love affairs. It's not.
It was as though she was playing Bella on the press tour. She was very Bella Swan. The consensus was that she came across...
was Bella Swan?
Kristen Stewart. It's unclear. Yeah, always unclear. She came across as sullen and ungrateful on the tour. That
Are
was
they
kind
your
of...
words?
No. I swear this is how she was reported about.
all right,
I swear.
all right.
She said, I used to be really frustrated that because I didn't leap willingly into being at the centre of a certain amount of attention that it seemed like I was being an asshole. Okay, Claire can't say the word asshole. Asshole.
Did you read it? Because it had the American spelling, right? A-R-S-E.
Asshole. Sorry, asshole. I read that really weird.
Do you remember when you did a press, you were interviewing someone? Because you've interviewed, I'm going to say like you do it all the time. No, you don't. You did it once. We don't know why. I don't know why you got this opportunity. But you interviewed Zac Efron and Zendaya. I mean, did you find, because I always think with celebrities, they're tired. They have long, long days. They have been asked exactly the same questions. Imagine like the press junket in Australia. They're doing that in 40 countries all over the world in a very short period of time. Jet lagged, they're probably hungry, lots and lots of things. Did you find that with Zendaya and Zach?
I did with one of them. I'm not going to say which one.
You was Zendaya.
Okay. Afterwards,
I love Zendaya.
I realised it was because she was so young and she would have been exhausted. And so she came across a bit like how Kristen Stewart came across.
Quiet, right? I think that you expect them to be who they are on screen and they're like, that's my day job. I'm very good at acting. But it would be really intimidating.
Yeah, she just seemed more reserved, whereas Zac Efron had clearly had years and years of media training and knew what to do in the room. Back to Kristen. It was this strange moment of her being one of the most famous people on the planet and also seeming to hate it. And people didn't like that.
Asshole.
Asshole. I think it was that people thought the Twilight films were terrible and they were mad at her about it. But then why weren't people mad at Robert Pattinson? And I think that was because he was a bit more self-deprecating about the films. But I don't think she had the freedom to be. She had to take it seriously. As a woman, you have to be like, I believe that Twilight, by excellent literary genius Stephenie Meyer, is the story of a generation.
I feel very much like I can't really tell a huge difference between myself and Bella anymore, as odd as that sounds. I'm used to playing like really distinct characters that are so far away from my normal reality. And in this case, like the only thing that I was really worried about was just making sure that it was absolutely honest and open and vulnerable and very present.
That's how she had to approach this.
She was also the star. She was the breakout star. She's the one who made all the money. She was the one winning awards. I feel as though she was actually what the franchise hinged on.
Exactly. So I get why she couldn't kind of take the piss out of it in the same way that Robert Pattinson did. Basically, that's how we end up with a Kristen Stewart who's got this vibe of being a bit sulky, kind of like Avril Lavigne, when Avril Lavigne was that sulky, grungy teenager. That's what Kristen Stewart had. Then something happens in 2012. It's a cheating scandal.
Twilight stars and real-life lovers, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, all smiles on the red carpet. But will their relationship survive a fling with a much older director?
Stewart's film, Snow White and the Huntsman,
In the woods,
had been in theatres for more than 6 weeks and was well on its way to making $400 million at the box office. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson were the it couple, with the final Twilight film due to come out at the end of the year. They'd confirmed they were together.
How long had they been together? A few years or something?
Yeah, it was ambiguous because they didn't acknowledge it at first. It's late July.
Okay.
Kristen Stewart is headed home from the gym and she gets a call and she changes course. How do we know this? There are paparazzi watching. She arrives at a building and she meets her Snow White director, Rupert Sanders, whose wife and mother of his children, Liberty Ross, had also starred in that movie. They drove to a desolate hiking trail.
Yes, the woods.
In the woods. And they started hooking up in Kristen's car.
Dry humping in a car.
Yeah.
And then out of the car.
The paparazzi said it was like they couldn't get enough of each other. During the escapade, would we call it, Stewart wore Pattinson's blue cap. And
Kick in the guts, yeah.
That seemed particularly hurtful. Can I just say that this particular paparazzi person is very good at their job?
They actually would have made a lot of money because they called in reinforcements like the police do. Like when the police get to a thing and they're like, oh, actually, this is
There's a crime. There's a crime.
alert, crime. They'll call others to say crime scene.
Yeah. And so they called like 3 others.
Yeah,
So
the paparazzi man was like,
They stepped out of their car, looking out over Hollywood, caressed each other, kissed each other. They were kissing like teenagers.
But for this paparazzi to have not been spotted or scare her off, they should be a private investigator. They could crack down on organised crime or some shit.
I mean, they would have been crouching in the woods. There'd have been bears.
They were-
There'd have been
Danger,
predators. And
danger.
they went, this is a $250,000 day. It's a payday. So I'm going
For
to
me.
squat and get a photo of Kristen.
Us Weekly bought the photos for $250,000 and told Stewart they were being printed. The day before, she'd seemed happy with Pattinson at the Teen Choice Awards, and apparently when she got the tip off that this was going to be published, she called him to tell him the news. Her people actually leaked the story first, describing it as a lapse in judgment and fleeting, and she issued a public apology to Pattinson. She said, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardised the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him. I love him. I'm so sorry. People said they thought that apology was written by Stephanie Meyer. And I think that's probably not the case. At the time...
Could have been written by E.L. James.
Yeah.
Who writes Stephanie Meyer fanfiction for Kristen Stewart.
At the time, Sanders apologised to his wife. He said he was distraught about the pain he'd caused his family. Now, a few things. Was Kristen Stewart really going out with Robert Pattinson? Or was that a PR relationship?
Weren't they living together?
Oh, yeah. I have a point about that too.
Are you going seamlessly into conspiracy theories right now?
No.
Right.
This is more just my conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Because there were these pap shots of Pattinson moving out of the home he shared with Stewart a few days later.
Mm-hmm.
But they were ridiculous. There was this giant truck that said U-Haul.
Yeah.
And getting all his furniture. And I just thought, you know what?
How else does one move?
A car that doesn't say U-Haul.
But isn't U-Haul the brand?
I just thought, like,
it's like
would you signpost it that hard to be like, she cheated on me and I'm moving out? And I just think, was this one of those orchestrated relationships because of the franchise?
I don't think so. No. I think that they were really together, in my opinion. Because if I was Kristen and I wasn't, I'd clarify that. Because it didn't look good for her.
It didn't.
I think you're missing the point of what's so wrong about this story.
No, I've got it. Believe me. Why was Kristen Stewart the villain and not the man who cheated on his literal wife and the mother of his children and was also 19 years older than her? The way he was described in the media was as Kristen Stewart's affair partner.
Unnamed.
What do you think is the big problem?
I don't have a problem with cheating every now and then.
Oh,
it's a little bit funny. Okay, for anyone who's been cheated on, I'm very sorry. But I'm coming to a point.
Okay, you better be.
Cheating is not a crime. We've checked the rule book. It's not a crime. You know what is a crime? Cheating badly.
Okay, yes. Getting caught.
And I'm so upset about where they chose to cheat. They could have cheated anywhere. She's the richest woman in the world. Cheat on the moon. Cheat on the moon. Cheat on Mars.
Call Elon.
He
has a bunker.
Cheat in a submarine. What we did was we drove down the road. We got out of a car. We didn't even go into the woods. We hung out at the entrance of the woods and had a very public rendezvous.
I don't know. I've only ever seen this word written, so I don't know how to say it, but I'd call it a tryst or a tryst.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that word is.
But I think it's a public tryst.
But if I was cheating, I'm not famous. If I was cheating, would I cheat on the street?
Would I cheat in my car with non-tinted windows? No.
I'd cheat privately.
My thing is, I could have seen them cheating.
Yes.
Had I been walking past.
In the woods. You could have been hiking that day.
And I'm not a paparazzi. Now, something that does make me feel really uncomfortable about this is that the director's wife, Liberty Ross, had really advocated for Kristen Stewart to be in the movie.
She said there's something about her. Well,
yeah,
your husband thinks so. Oh, that's not good.
It's not good. That actually...
It's annoying.
You would just be so mad. And some actors seem to be able to deal with the PR fallout of something like this. Brad Pitt, Hugh Grant, even Julia Roberts.
Kevin Hart, Jude Law, David Letterman, Usher, Ethan Hawke. These are all men who have cheated on their wives or cheated on their long-term partners.
Mm-hmm.
They were not cancelled like Kristen was.
No.
I will put that on the record. But the question is, did they cheat better? I think maybe.
But I also think the problem was there was so much disdain for her because people hated Twilight so much. They wanted more.
But they didn't hate it. They went.
No, they did. But they wanted her to be the villain who upset darling Robert.
And Edward.
Online, fans are outraged.
Oh, I don't understand how she could do this.
Wondering if Bella has driven a stake through Edward's heart.
I'll never let anybody hurt you.
As well as the Twilight Saga's final outing at the box office.
At the time, there were some funny things people said. A tweet that said, Kristen Stewart apologises for cheating on Rob Pattinson with director Rupert Sanders. She should apologise for Twilight first. Okay. Then comedian Will Ferrell made all these jokes on Conan O'Brien.
But there's this actress, Kristen Stewart, okay? And she goes by K-Stew. she had a boyfriend, right? And Robert Patterson, and he's our pass, and she cheated on him. And they're broken up. They're not going to get back together ever. And I'm sorry. And what they had was so special, Conan. You don't even know what they had. They were in love, and she just threw it all away.
Then Conan started to argue, and Conan said, "I've been in love," and Will Ferrell said, "Not like them." And then he said, "She's a trampire."
So I was looking online and I saw all these videos from the time, and they're like, see, they were just perfect. And it's a picture of like Robert carrying around, like literally picking up Kristen Stewart and walking around, except it's not Robert. It's Edward picking up Bella. And I'm like, no, that's a shot from a film. That was scripted. That's not who they really are.
But people got confused. They always get confused. Another tweet said, Kristen Stewart even made having an illicit affair look boring. But my favourite reaction was from the one and only Donald Trump. The man spent a month wrapped up in the scandal, and these are some of the tweets. Okay. This is in order. You can see how his rage
He's spiraling about his
yeah. He says, Robert Pattinson should not take back Kristen Stewart. She cheated on him like a dog and will do it again, just watch. He can do much better. One day later. Robert,
I'm still thinking about it.
Robert, I'm getting a lot of heat for saying you should dump Kristen. But I'm right. If you saw the Miss Universe girls, you would reconsider.
Oh.
4 days later. Everyone knows I am right that Robert Pattinson should dump Kristen Stewart. In a couple of years, he will thank me. Be smart, Robert. The next day. Everyone is asking me to speak more on Robert and Kristen. No, they're not, sweetie. I don't have time except to say, Robert, drop her. She cheated on you and will again. He does have time. 2 to 3 weeks later, Robert Pattinson is putting on a good face for the release of Twilight. He took my advice on Kristen Stewart, I hope. Then his last one was, after Friday's Twilight release, I hope Robert Pattinson will not be seen in public with Kristen. Oh. She would cheat on him again. I really like that he was tracking the release and the media.
He was clearly on like Perez Hilton and was just constantly refreshing, being like, has he dumped her yet? Apparently he tweeted out like he kept inviting Robert to parties.
He wanted Robert to meet the Miss Universe girls because he thought
that would help.
That would help.
Yeah.
He was trying to be a bro.
This is a man who has cheated on every woman he has looked at.
Yeah.
He cheated on Ivana and also Barron's mother, Melania.
Has he cheated on Melania?
Oh, 11 times. Stormy Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently he was cheating on Melania as she was like pushing out Barron.
Okay.
He's a cheating dirty pig.
He was probably cheating while tweeting.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories. My favourite part of all of this cheating scandal is that fans at the time were so baffled that they developed conspiracy theories. You see, Bella and Edward's love is so strong that they believed there was no way she would cheat on him. So yeah, there was an internet theory that she had a brain tumour. So one person said, okay, remember how so many people were saying how it's odd that Kristen Stewart is so private about her love life with Rob, but is suddenly caught cheating with a married man in broad daylight? Great point. That is weird. That is weird.
That is weird.
My theory, she has a brain tumour. Maybe? No. This is pretty plausible, okay? Lol.
Why?
It's one explanation. Doesn't a brain tumour make you act drastically different than how you would normally act?
Not necessarily, no.
Then at the end, lol, no, clearly I've been watching too much Grey's Anatomy. Yes.
You can't just accuse
Yes, Mon
people.
sisters for life.
Okay, you can't just accuse people of having a brain tumour.
What we need to remember about this time in history, 2012, is Tumblr. And so that was a post on Tumblr.
You know what? Tumblr didn't have any chill. It was
very
too
emotional.
many feelings on one platform. I think it just imploded one day and it said, we can't handle this amount of feelings.
Somebody else said, I want her to say she was drunk or drugged or whatever. I want this nightmare to end.
All right.
Then there was a picture of Robert and Kristen hugging with the text unbroken written over the top. And it says, please, please stop. I know that you may start having doubts about the rumours, but if you are a Kristen fan, you should know this was a big fat lie. Kristen would never do that. I mean, she have the sexiest man on the planet. And not only that, if for some reason Kristen was having an affair, she would have been more careful about it.
I agree.
We all know that Robston, that was their couple name.
Terrible, doesn't have a ring to it. Robston.
I'd go Crishirt.
Crishirt is nicer.
Yeah. Have always been careful about their relationship, so why would she screw that up? Especially now that they are so good together. I don't know how Kristen would feel if she finds out that her fans are having second thoughts about her. So please stop reading all this. Take a break. This will go away in a few days. I truly love Chris and I will always support her no matter what. And then underneath it said, reblog if you like this. We should all take a break. This is not true. It got 0 reblogs.
Did you hear the other rumour? The other conspiracy theory?
That they're still together?
No.
Oh, I didn't get into that one because I was very serious.
Okay, so what's the director of The Huntsman?
Oh, I already
Snow
forgot
White?
his name.
You're like Russell-ish.
Rupert.
Okay, Rupert. They think that those photos, all these people were zooming in on what is clearly Kristen Stewart and being like, I don't know, it could be his wife.
His wife
they look
left
quite
him.
alike. And I'm like, oh, she left him and said he cheated on her, but okay. So, yeah, everyone was like, I don't think it's Kristen.
Yeah.
It's like as if Kristen Stewart, okay, so a random's been hooking up with them and Kristen Stewart just comes out and apologizes.
And takes the fall.
Yeah, it's like you would say, that's not me, actually. I just think that what's hard for celebrities, I think about this a lot, is that I don't get a lot of options to cheat. I've been in a long-term relationship. I have a severe lack of options.
I say this a lot, haven't had an offer.
Haven't had an offer. So who are we?
Haven't had the offer of a workplace affair.
No. Who are we to judge when we don't know what it's like to have people throw themselves at you? If you're a celebrity and everyone in the world wants to have sex with you, I honestly think that would be stressful. And at some point you would probably stray. But it is lucky that for most of us, we don't have any options anymore. So we just go with the one.
Let's hope our fiancés don't hear this. Jessie, moving on to criticising her co-stars. Stewart has appeared in some roles that weren't great, which, by the way, so has every actor. I respect a woman's right to choose some terrible movies. Same. Always will. However, people thought it was interesting when she tried to say she acts badly when she's with bad actors. So she told Vanity Fair, I'm not the type of actor who can perform without wearing a mirror on my face. Everyone knows that you're better with other actors who are really present, who you are having the same experience with, but I am made or broken on it. I'm working with someone who I'm not vibing with or who I have to fake anything with.
Who was it?
Then it's sad for me and it's bad acting.
Like, who do you reckon?
She,
I'll do some research, Claire. What the hell? Who is it?
Well, I mean, she had a good movie come out at that time that she won an award for, so it can't have been the French one.
Can listeners work that out?
Yeah, that'd be really handy.
Can you just do a bit of research and work? Is it shade being thrown at Rob?
I think so. I think she has thrown shade at Robert a lot. She was also on a talk show and I think Robert was working on something else and she had to do the Twilight press tour with Taylor Lautner and she...
Are they friends?
I think so, friendly. And she did make a comment about like, oh, it's just been so much more fun. And then she's like, not like that, not like that. And I'm like, yes, like that, Kristen. I'm looking into this, okay? Then when she wasn't featured in the sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman, which was panned by critics, she told Variety, I read a few scripts, none of them were good, none of them were green lightable. And I had a meeting with Universal about the places where the story could go. Maybe Chris Hemsworth was more into it. I actually don't know. She said it wasn't...
Did that happen?
Yes. She said it wasn't a situation where I got kicked off a movie because I got in trouble. We had been in talks months after that about making something work and it never came together.
Who played the role?
Okay, it was weird because they did the sequel. She was Snow White and they did it without her. They did a sequel to Snow White without her. I am unsure.
Again, the lack of research.
Sorry, I was distracted by the fact that she pretended like her not being cast in the sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman
was normal.
Was because the script wasn't good enough. Honey, we did a cheating with the director. It's in the papers.
We did a pash with the director and the wife is not impressed. Oh my God.
Anyway, the point is she wasn't in the sequel and it was obviously because she did a cheat.
And we never heard about the sequel, so I think it didn't work without her.
No, it did really, really badly. And so what I'm trying to say...
Did it have the same director?
No! He didn't get taken on.
Okay.
He also did a cheat. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is she clearly got left out of the sequel for cheating, but she made it sound like she made the choice to not be in the sequel because it was bad. And it's like, yes, the sequel was bad. Yes. But that's not why you weren't in it.
Claire, I've understood what you're trying to say for 90 seconds.
Okay.
I completely understand your point.
Just need
It is on the record. I agree.
Okay. Working with Woody Allen. Stewart has been criticised for working with director Woody Allen as recently as 2016. She's outspoken when it comes to sexism and gender inequality.
I was going to ask what film she did with Woody Allen, but I guarantee you don't know.
What?
You don't have it.
I just don't have it in my notes. It was in Cafe Something, and it was with Blake Lively and Steve Carell. And the point I was going to make was that she gets a lot of crap, whereas have you really heard people challenge Steve Carell?
No. Men don't get challenged for working with Woody Allen. You know who else doesn't get challenged? Woody Allen.
That's something.
Woody Allen is the problem with Woody Allen. And instead we point to women who have some very
like women make him do better. And it's like he could also do better
as a person.
So Ronan Farrow gets annoyed at Kristen Stewart. Just for the record, to enter into the courtroom, Allen was famously accused of sexually assaulting his stepdaughter, Dylan Farrow. He also married his ex, Mia Farrow's adopted daughter, Sun Yi Preven, which is just so incredibly screwed up.
Sounds a lot like Kristen Stewart's fault.
When asked about working with Allen, Stewart said she spoke to her co-star, Jesse Eisenberg, and said, "What do you think? We don't know any of these people involved. I can personalise situations which would be very wrong. At the end of the day, Jessie and I talked about this. If we were persecuted for the amount of shit that's been said about us that's not true, our lives would be over. The experience of making the movie was so outside of that, it was fruitful for the two of us to go on with it." Now,
not imperfect statement there.
We don't want to be defending Woody Allen.
No.
And I have to say, even post Me Too, she hasn't commented further. She did have another quote in 2016 about the gender pay gap in Hollywood, which was viewed as a little bit glib. She said, "Instead of sitting around and complaining, do something. Go write something. Go do something."
Easy for you to say, Bella.
And that's easy to say. Like, fuck, it's hard to get movies made. It's a huge luxury. Who gets to just make movies? But that subject is just so prevalently everywhere right now, and it's boring. I will say the movie she did after making that statement was directed by a woman. So I think the point she was trying to make was, let's support women who are doing things rather than talking nonstop about how we don't have enough women. But I do think that statement is a little oblivious to the fact that not everyone's movies get greenlit equally. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, Jack and Jill. The Adam Sandler movie. How did it get greenlit? So
there are so many that get greenlit.
My point is,
you
can say, women write more, women do something.
Well, we can't because Adam Sandler's making a film.
Finally, creative choices. The consensus from people who know what they're talking about is that Kristen Stewart can act. I want that on the record.
I read that.
Yep. She's done some stellar performances. She's the only American to ever win a César, a prestigious French film award, for her supporting role in Cloud of Sils Maria.
She's been accused of mouth acting.
So
mouth acting is when we just act with our mouth.
Oh, I think she acts with her eyes as well.
Some say that, but she
and her nose.
Okay, okay. It is very lower of the face. Lower face acting is what some say.
I think women get accused of that, and I think it's a weird criticism.
I'm just putting that out.
Okay. I won't hold Twilight against her because, again, Jack and Jill. But what I need to talk about is the movie Spencer. I did not enjoy it. I watched it on a plane.
Okay.
But I didn't get through it because it was so bad. I thought it was slow, and I thought Stewart did not do a good job, and I thought her accent was really bad.
It's brought it up. It's dangerous, apparently. They said, it's dangerous, you know? Those voices, like doors closing.
In my opinion, there's been a weird phase of movies and TV shows where actors impersonate a person.
Sorry, impersonator. We say that we went and saw Elvis recently.
Not an impersonation.
And we said, is this going to be full impersonator? And it wasn't. It was a brilliant film. Highly recommend.
I don't know what makes the difference. Don't ask me.
No.
I'm just saying there is a difference.
You know what was very impersonation? Inventing Anna.
Yes. The problem is it becomes so much about the costuming and the hair and trying to
accent.
do the person's exact mannerisms that it's cringe.
Is that what you found with Spencer?
I can't work out if I didn't like Spencer because I was so blatantly aware that I was watching
Kristen Stewart pretending to be Diana.
Kristen Stewart in a wig.
Okay, because, and this isn't what this podcast's about, but the thing about the Elton John film is I hadn't seen that actor in anything else.
Yep.
And same with Austin Butler.
Yes, whereas when you've got Amanda Seyfried and you've got Kristen Stewart, I'm going, oh, it's American actress and former Twilight star Kristen Stewart pretending to be Princess Diana. How odd.
And it is a bit uncomfortable.
And I also thought Diana in The Crown was better than Stewart as Diana. Jessie, have you seen any of Spencer?
No, I haven't. And I think we've fussed a bit over the royals. I think it's a little much. I don't think the world needs another interpretation of any royal story.
It's a lot of her sitting at a table glancing at people.
Yeah.
And when it's not that, it's her speaking in this really bad British accent to two little boys who are trying to be William and Harry, and it upsets me.
It got very good reviews.
It did.
People loved it.
People liked it because it was art house.
Right.
I'm not here for art house. Well, I am sometimes if it's good.
Okay.
But this was not good. So that was just me letting off a bit of steam about her creative choices.
Can I bring my charge to the table? Is it time?
It's time, yes.
My charge is, again, it's not cheating. That's not a charge. It's not a crime.
We'll debate that.
Cheating badly.
Yes.
Cheating very badly. Didn't like it. And I don't respect it. I respect what I call a sneak.
Okay.
If we're going to cheat,
we cheat in a hotel room with the blinds closed. And we check in under a fake name and we come in at different times. You've got to think about these things.
The other places that one might cheat. His place. Your place.
Yeah.
A hotel, as said. A private jet. A morgue.
Yeah, no one's going to look there.
A hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could pay to go anywhere. A museum. In a courtroom. Okay. Are all places that she could have cheated. But she didn't. She cheated at the entrance of the woods. My sentence is, I want her to experience being cheated on badly. Because there's a feeling of you couldn't even be bothered to sneak.
You didn't try hard enough at the cheating.
No, you're not even worth trying to hide it from. Once I had a boyfriend. I was at one of his friends' places. I was walking around doing something. I came in. He was cheating on me in the kitchen.
And you think, at least move to the bedroom. Come on now.
Close the door.
Okay.
Have some respect.
It's incredibly inconvenient for me to have walked in on this.
Because what am I meant to do? How am I meant to behave to this? I just feel a bit silly.
It's embarrassing for me to have to say, come on
and
now.
neither of you thought to sneak?
No.
Neither of you went, maybe we should just crouch down. Like an island bench.
Yeah.
Crouch.
Yeah.
But instead we're just standing here cheating, right? I want her to feel that. And I'm trying to think of the most public way you could cheat.
What do you reckon would be the most, like Times Square? Do you know what I mean? Just go, I was going to start having a sex. Just Robert Pattinson is just openly having public sex.
With the woman he's cheating with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
I
want.
Everyone's filming you in the background of everyone's photos.
Yeah.
Okay, Jessie, my charge. Lying and or cheating and lying. Okay? Because there's cheating, or maybe she was lying about being with Robert Pattinson for PR reasons, in which case lying is also bad. But more likely than not, there was cheating and lying, because cheating in and of itself is lying. I thought about this a lot. Sentence. The only antidote to lying is to tell the truth. The whole truth. I want the whole story of the affair. I'd like Kristen's version. I'd like Robert's version. I'd like Mr. Director's version. And perhaps most importantly, I would like his wife's version. And you might say, Claire, please. That's traumatic. How horrible. Just let them be. But to that I say, I'm sorry, but it's some great gossip.
It is. And I feel like we never got to the bottom of it.
No, I don't know enough. Incredibly upsetting.
It's incredibly upsetting because we don't know if they had sex.
We don't know if that was the first time or if that was ongoing.
Because of course they're going to say it's the first time, but they looked familiar, don't they?
And my question is, if it's the first time, did you just text him? You finish at the gym and you go, finish at the gym, done my run.
Feel like a cheat.
Bit horny for some cheating. So you message.
Meet me at the woods.
You go, who am I going to cheat with? Current boss.
Yeah.
No, I think there'd been at the very least some flirting, some text exchanges.
Yeah.
I need all of this on the record. Not for criticism, for personal use, okay? Yeah. So that I can have just some conversations with girlfriends where I say, let's just go from the beginning. And
Because
just
did
tell
Robert
the story.
know? Did he have a little spidey sense? Because when I watched my boyfriend kiss another person in front of me, I went, I've got a sense.
Yeah, I think I know.
I think I'm being cheated on.
Yeah. I want to know.
What was the phone call like when she called him and was like, by the way, I've cheated, I've leaked it. And he said, oh, she have sex. Like, what did you say to that? And then I want to know about, because that woman, the director's wife who got her on board, also played her mother in the film. So I need to know just a few things about that dynamic.
She had to have sent some cruel text messages.
Yes.
Where are they?
Where are they?
I'll be needing those. And
I wonder if Kristen and I keep calling him Russell, but Rupert.
I don't think they're still friends.
And Kristen and Robert,
that's
no, they don't speak.
I believe Kristen's engaged.
She is, which is great.
Yeah. What I will say is, Kristen, this can be in any format that you like. This can be an interview on Meghan Markle's new podcast, Archetypes. Okay? You can do it in that format.
What archetype are they smashing?
I was the villain. I was the cruel cheater.
Okay.
Let's
blow that
Great
up.
podcast topic.
Okay.
That's one for
Red
free,
Table
Megan.
Talk.
Red Table Talk. That's
Jada
another
would love it.
She
had an entanglement.
Jada can bring up her own experience with
Let me
August.
show you about August, yes.
And ultimately this may be turned into a movie, and the ultimate punishment would be somebody plays Kristen Stewart that is not Kristen Stewart, but it feels like an impersonation. Somebody just impersonates her mannerisms, and Kristen watches and goes,
It's not quite it.
It feels like you worked harder on making that person look like me and speak like me and not enough on the content of this film. And then I will turn to that's what Spencer was for me. And that is how we like to say in the Cancelled Courtroom, Garma.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was also going to say the Cancelled Courtroom has discussed before an NQR. I'm not quite right. And I think that what you're saying is that we'll watch that film, we'll go, great impersonation of Kristen. NQR. There were just a few things. Can't put our finger on all of them. There's a lot Didn't
of NQR.
feel right. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Cancelled. We will be putting our receipts up. Are we going to share the pap shot? I feel like they're archival history at this point.
They're history. They're historical.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put them up. We're at The Twins Thoughts on Instagram. And the producer of Cancelled is Emma Gillespie. And we will speak to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.